Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyervip.com. Remember, the opinion you should consider should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. You know, we're on the eve of the Super Bowl. As people know, in my other life, I actually practice law, family law at times. And I've been involved in some cases with some very sensitive family law subjects, right? Among them is the issue of adoption. I have a case right now that involves 3 adopted kids. Now, let me just say, given the sensitivity of the subject matter, I am absolutely disgusted. I'm here online throwing a red flag, even though I don't do a lot of commentary videos. But this is such a ridiculously low blow that somebody needs to call out this journalist for really his audacity in not only deciding on the eve of the Super Bowl to publicly disclose that a player in the Super Bowl is adopted, but then to take the extraordinary extra step and to actually lament the fact that this adopted player has chosen not to meet the mother who gave him up for adoption. No, I'm not going to name the player because I really do believe that there are private matters like this that should not be up for public consumption, right? We're talking about a professional athlete, right? We're talking about someone who is in the public eye for their football playing abilities, not for their familial, private relationships. This is not a politician. This is a football player, right? Whether or not that person is adopted, and whether or not they decide whether to meet a parent who gave them up for adoption or who abandoned them, is their private decision. It isn't our decision. It shouldn't be a commercial decision, one that Reilly, the author of this hideous piece, feels that he has a right to force and profit from, right? It's just staggering. Moreover, quite frankly, the timing couldn't be worse, right? On the eve of a Super Bowl, just imagine if you were a private person and you were adopted and you had made decisions in your life about whether or not you were going to meet the people who gave you up for adoption. And just imagine on the eve of your biggest professional challenge, some writer decides that they need to boost their sales at your expense. Some writer decides that they want to profit off of your private life, off of your adopted status, off of your decision on whether to meet your birth parent. Simply put, this is unbelievable. You know, all I can say about Rick Reilly is, Rick, I'm not going to be reading your stuff for quite some time. This is beyond bad taste. Let me also say this too. I was unfortunate enough to hear Rick on a national radio talk show discuss his reasons why he decided to invade this player's privacy to such an extent. And Rick's reason, of course, is because in his life, which is totally irrelevant to the privacy rights of this professional athlete. In his life, he has an adopted daughter. And his adopted daughter apparently had a different preference than this professional athlete. You know, I understand that people in the mainstream media might be afraid to tell a well-known columnist that they're self-absorbed and a bit too myopic, and that they need to think twice before they violate other people's privacy. Well, Rick Reilly, I'm doing so right now. Absolutely idiotic. Right? Rick Reilly making decisions to literally breach the privacy rights of a professional athlete. Right? An athlete's adopted status has nothing whatsoever to do with their on-field performance. Right? What's Rick going to do next? Start trying to pressure athletes to talk to ex-girlfriends? Is he going to try to hunt down fathers who have abandoned families now and start to confront the sons those fathers have abandoned, who now play professional sports, to try to sell more stories? You know, Shaquille O'Neal once had a song, Biological Didn't Bother, right? He made the song after he was being interviewed after a game, and someone said to him that his birth father, the one who abandoned his mother, was in the arena and wanted to meet him. And Shaq decided not to meet his birth father because his birth father abandoned him, right? Keep in mind, it's Shaq's decision on how to interpret that situation. It's not some writer who met Shaq, 18, 19 years after Shaq's birth, after Shaq was raised by his single mother and then his stepfather. No, it's Shaq's decision, right? And Shaq was of the mindset that I would be, quite frankly. Right now, my father was in my life the entire time. But I'll just say this. If I felt that a parent had abandoned me, that would be it. And would I be grateful if some writer decided to, try to say, hey, aren't you adopted? And why won't you meet the parent who gave you up for adoption? Let's just say that would be a very tense interaction, especially if I were about to play in the biggest game of my life. Let me just say, shame on Rick Reilly. He needs to buy Shaq's Biological Did Not Bother and listen to the lyrics of that song closely. Okay? If you're going to play with people's lives, don't do it this way. Right? Let me just say, too, that just the idea that Rick Reilly would go and track down the parent who gave up this athlete for adoption, interview them, and then go to the athlete on the eve of the Super Bowl and try to get a comment is just beyond offensive. It's just completely out of bounds. In a word, disgraceful. Thanks for watching.